Well, that was totally bizarre. The video just completely cut out. So it was done. And then I have to restart. So hopefully you guys can come back in and join me. Wow. I've never had that happen before where it completely cut out like that. Okay, so um, okay, yes, yes. Sorry guys, video just cut right out. Just completely cut me off. And I was like, okay, well, so we'll just wait a few seconds. Um, that was weird. Good thing I have my organite here with me, hey? All these little crystals and pieces in here, they help with electronics. I've got two of them. And these were gifts that were given to me by William and Norma when they came to visit me. So it's got rose quartz in it and other type of metals in this resin. I love it. And this resin's to last up to 26,000 years. How cool is that? So it's got copper and amethyst and rose quartz, and um, uh, it's got a Tesla coil in the middle of it. And this really helps with the energy because the energy can get pretty intense. Helps with electronics. So, yay, you guys are back. Sorry I cut out, but that's what happens. I have no explanation. So, okay. So, let's get back on track here. So, everybody can do this. And it's a matter of practice. Practice sensing the energies around you. Practice yes and no questions, okay? Ask a question, then have neutral mind, neutral thought. And you guys know I love angel cards. They're very high vibrational. And you use your clairsentience, which means you tune out your. Here's the thing, I can't hear my team. Well, do you have a still mind? No. Are you eating a lot of sugar and caffeine and your adrenal glands are pumped up through the roof and your mind is racing a mile a minute? Uh-huh. So what are the chances that you're probably going to be hearing spirit at that time? Or picking up on images that they put in your head, ideas that they stick in your mind. You know, when you have something that just pops into your mind randomly, that's claircognizance, and they're helping you, and they give you direction. You're channeling all the time. It's just what I'm doing right now is actively channeling. We all channel all the time. Some of us will channel certain smells and yet nobody's around and you're all by yourself and the windows are all closed. Why are you smelling that scent? But that used to be your mom's favorite perfume, or that was your relative's favorite flower. Or like with me, for example, my great aunt, she used to smoke a lot of cigarettes. So I'll be alone with all the windows closed and all of a sudden I'm smelling cigarette smoke. I'm like, hey, Auntie Margaret. So we're channeling all the time, okay? We channel all the time. So angel cards are wonderful in bridging the gap. And the practice that you get with angel cards kind of opens the door. You can sense their energy. You can ask your angels to come in closer. Just start talking to your angels. Believing is secondary. Asking is important because being in a free will zone, you need to ask. Okay, so as we move along, let's go. Sally, ooh, how do we be braver in times of uncertainty? That is a great question. So would you like to answer that one? She says, step up to the plate, step forward, and take action. When you get that internal nudging and it kind of nudges you forward, take action, speak up, say something. It may not always be the right thing that comes out of your mouth, but what's important is that you don't sit back and be passive. She's even saying docile. A lot of us put our heads down. We're too busy on our phones, and we walk through life not even being aware of each other. So when you see something or you're experiencing something with someone and you get that internal nudging to speak up and say something, do it. That's the first step she feels in bravery. Um, she's like super brave, guys. Oh my God. I mean, very brave. But um, in the beginning, I didn't want to go on camera. I was like, oh my God, to my angels, and I didn't want to go on YouTube. No thanks. But you build up that bravery over time, and then you say, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do one video a week. I can do 2 videos a week. I can do this. And then after a time, you don't even think of it as being brave anymore. That you just do it for the love of it, for the enjoyment of it, or because you know it feels right. So if it feels right and you're getting that internal nudging to move in that direction, go do it. Okay. Um, so Jacqueline's question, what advice would you give each of us today to help the collective raise in vibration? So in order for the world's global consciousness to raise in vibrational frequency. Oh, she's going to go through the list of the same things that you guys have heard already before. Be acutely aware of the thoughts in which you house in your mind, being the still observer of your thoughts. If you have the same thought rotate in your mind over and over, and it's a low vibrational thought, and it doesn't make you feel good, it makes you sink, be aware of that. You are the manifestors of your realities. You manifest your life experience. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, um, your body needs proper nutrition in order to function optimally. And she says a lot of the foods in the supermarket aren't even foods. A lot of processed foods, a lot of starch foods, chemical foods, food coloring, just not good for the human body for consumption. Now she says FDA, FDA approved, and she's laughing her head off. She just thinks that's hilarious. Like as if, just because it's FDA approved, she thinks that that's a joke. Um, she's talking about Monsanto. Am I saying that right? The company that is altering the seeds, and basically we're growing produce now on the planet that isn't good. Basically, long term, it's not the original seeds that the planet was growing. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like that company. She doesn't like what they're doing on the planet. Steer clear of uh, um, engineered produce, meaning fruits and vegetables that have been altered by humans. Steer clear, or sprayed by humans with chemicals, even coated in waxes. That is not good for human consumption. Also, the tap water. She wouldn't touch the tap water. She's talking about back in her day, they had wells and springs, and they drank the water directly from the earth. So she does suggest moving in that direction, spring water or water from a clean well. She really likes that too. She's really emphasizing she says, no way I would touch the tap water. Not with what she knows is in it. No way. And she certainly wouldn't drink soda or pop. Oh no, 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 no. She's really emphasizing that. So, like, take good care of your body. You only got this one. And also, it helps to ground you with the diet change, with a whole food diet, grounding and raising of your so you're in your body. You're not like most of us are so exhausted and tired. I think they're jacked up on sugar and caffeine most of the day. So if you could take action steps and just start to decrease and then remove over time, that would be greatly beneficial. So if you were to just alter your diet and be aware of the thoughts that you housed in your mind and your own vibrational frequency, those two ways would be so impactful globally. Okay, she's busting off her hands, so we move to the next. Can we call on Joan of Arc in difficult times or to reach a goal? Yes, yes, yes. She says, don't feel like you're stealing me away or that I'm too busy to help you, because I'm an omnipresent being of light and love, which means she can be with all of us at the same time. There is no linear time here, and I can do it all. Right on. Okay, so she can do it all. What advice does she give women in our current climate? What advice to men? Ooh, I love that question, Deborah. Oh, gee. Okay, this is her advice for the women. She's in her full gear with her sword, and she's like, "Rah!" And she's running, and she's screaming, and she's fucking got her sword out, and she's running and screaming, going forward, charging. She's saying charging. That's her advice for you. Now, this is her advice for men. Please become more still and aware and observe your thoughts and your own vibrational frequency. Please allow the women to step forward more so in your lives and here on the planet. Geez, you're really stirring the pot with that one. She says, but in truth, nothing will stop this from occurring, this rebalancing of the sexes on the planet and the rebalancing of this energy. So it will become balanced. And she's a part of that by the work that she's doing on this side with the archangels, is a rebalancing of the energy. Okay. Whoa, that was intense. Okay. Oof, really pushing it there with that one. Hey, Ruth, are there any actually just wars? Does the divine usually take a side in a conflict? How did the divine also aid the English? Okay, well, we'll see how much she's going to answer with all that. Holy smokes. Yes, there are just wars, meaning it's a ripple effect. Okay, she's going to use World War II as an example. Okay, at the head of that is Hitler, and we all go, evil man, evil. But if we could pull out and see the broader perspective as they do on the other side, there were many, it's a ripple effect. So yes, in many ways, absolute tragedy. But she wants to remind each of us that the souls that entered into that contract knew what was coming beforehand. And honestly, and the ripple effect was women took a role in being able to work more, because when the men were out at war, the women had to take on the role of uh, bringing in income and working at certain locations, helping the war efforts. So the women actually stepped forward as more equal um, citizens on the planet. So it's a ripple effect. There are a lot of beneficial things that came from that experience. And we all learned from that day forward that that is not what we want to ever repeat on the earth ever again. Sometimes you need great challenge and strife in order to not repeat it again, to learn from that experience and never repeat it again. And in fact, it has turned us towards peace, much more so. She says many of you wouldn't think that, but from our perspective, when we look at the global consciousness here on the earth plane, there are more locations, pockets on the earth that are more peaceful now than they ever were before. Wow. Did the divine also aid in the English? She's not really answering that. Just give me a minute. She says everything played out the way that it was meant to. She had a mission and a purpose in order to redirect the French, in order to save France. And that's how she sees it. And that's where she's going to leave it. Okay. Anything else on that? No. Okay. Anita, what would have happened if Joan didn't follow the archangel's request? I am curious about the motives for such requests from archangels, which eventually led her to a horrible execution. From her perspective, she knew what she was getting into well before coming into the body. And then she remembered bit by bit throughout her lifetime. It was a short, brief life with a great purpose. She was honored to step forward with this great purpose to accomplish. Mm-hmm. She knew what the outcome was going to be. She knew her end would come. She lived primarily in the present moment. So she wasn't worried about getting executed throughout that lifetime or what would happen to her. All she was driven by were the words of the divine, of God, in order to accomplish what she was asked to accomplish, to set forth and accomplish what she did. And that for her, she's elated by that. She did it. So her demise or her end was inevitable. There were a few other paths that could have happened where she could have walked away. But her ending of her life like that was something that she knew would be written in books to come and would be a story for the ages, and everyone would remember her and her mission and her purpose by way of the end in which she ended, which was being burned at the stake. Yeah. She was okay to be sacrificed in that way. That's how great of a drive she had within her to fulfill this purpose, this mission on earth. That's all that mattered to her in the moment, fulfilling this. That's it. She said, yes, I was scared at the end. She's kind of chuckling and saying, but who wouldn't be? I was only a 19-year-old girl. But from her soul's perspective, she fulfilled the mission that she set forth to accomplish. And that is the only glory in which she needed or needs. Needed. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Let's move along here. Yeah, that's a great question, Erin. Where did you find the strength in a male dominant timeline that knew of very few female warriors? Um, and, you know, where did you gain the strength for that? From God. Just straight up from God. That's what she's saying. She gleaned the strength from God because she was compelled to fulfill this mission. And she just had this overwhelming energy conversing with her and pulsating through her to fulfill this purpose. And she said at the beginning she tried to ignore what this was and the energy and the communication that was coming through her, but she was compelled to fulfill this mission. So as far as the strength, that came from God, straight up, and the angels, the archangels, yeah. And you know, them talking with her and guiding her. Yeah, okay. Okay. Do you have any regrets during your short life as Joan of Arc? Nope, none, not one. Okay, none. She feels that it was a great accomplishment, that life, and what she accomplished in that life, and what was requested of her, and she fulfilled it at such a young age. She feels that's a great accomplishment. Okay, next question. Would love her perspective on the shifting feminine energies and what it means for the future of our society. She's showing like a wheel in progress, moving in this direction of the divine feminine rising up not only within women, but also within men, and the rebalancing of the vibrational frequency here upon the globe and with the collective consciousness. And this wheel moving forward is just going to keep going, and it will build momentum and move in this direction. And with the help of spirit, it will rebalance itself nicely, where women won't become too dominant over men, but it'll be a nice balance between the two. She says in the future, the collective here will look at each other as a human being rather than the sex, the race, the color of your skin, your age. That's the direction we're moving in, where that won't matter. You will look at each other as a being, and with respect and love and care for one another. That will be the most important. Yeah, okay, so we answered that question. Okay, so how can we bring about peace to humankind? So, and if there's any way of accelerating that peace, it will all come down to within each of you, within you. That's where it's going to come down to. So, pointing the finger outside of yourself, condemning of another, or seeking another to be the resolution of the global peace or the peace here. She wants us to turn our attention away from that and go within. It will all come and stem from within each of us. In what ways? Feeling internal peace within ourselves, speaking up when you feel nudged to do so, and not sitting quietly. She really likes these peaceful rallies that are happening. So, usually you would see people protesting something with a lot of screaming and acting, like, a lot of commotion. But right now, she's seeing on the earth that there are peace rallies. She likes those a lot. Promote the peace. Whatever you focus on, or whatever you are speaking about, you are promoting more of. Whatever your attention is focused on, you're actually adding your energy into that and amplifying that which you're focusing upon. That's why she wouldn't focus on the negative news. She says, focus on peace, or a peace rally, a love rally. Go to peaceful, loving parts of the world and embody and amplify the peace and love within yourselves. That's amazing. Okay. Tracy, is she inhabiting a body on Earth right now at this time? Are you inhabiting a body right now? She says, no, not at this time. But there's going to be, in the future, okay, she will come back and she is going to inhabit a female body. And she's going to take more courageous steps and action steps in that body. Fascinating. She's going to speak out, and she's going to step up, and she's going to move. She's going to make some more ripples. She's going to take a lot of action steps. She's not one to sit back and be quiet, especially when she's being nudged or guided in a certain direction, or she sees something that she knows is not right. Then she steps up and says something about it. But this lifetime as a female that she'll be coming into won't be for under 100 years. Yes, so within the next 100 years. I'm thinking the next 10 years? No, not the next 10 years, but it's under 100 years she'll be coming back as a female. She's almost like, yeah, and she's gonna make happen. That's basically her attitude. Okay, here's the last question. Standing firm in your convictions, was that to include family as well? Okay. And convictions, was that to include family as well? Okay, I'm not quite sure if I understand what that means. She's just saying that the guidance that she was receiving from God and the angels and the archangels was so top priority that it superseded everything. There was nothing that was more important than that in that lifetime. It was all consuming. All consuming. Okay, guys. I would love to see if you have any questions for Joan. I'll take a few of them here at the end, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Heather, that's awesome. Heather here is saying, I spoke up and I knew it was right, an honorable thing to do, but it has led me to some moments of loneliness and isolation, but she'll be fine. So what would you say to somebody that's going to speak up, but they're worried that they're going to be isolated by their friends or family if they do that? That's really good. Let's see what she says about that. In any given moment, she says, you've got to weigh it out. Okay? Weigh it out. If you sit back and you don't say something versus if you say something and you create more distance between you and that individual or individuals. Um, she's also saying it's also part of this is how you're going to speak up and what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. She's laughing at herself. She says, I wasn't always the best at, um, you know, being saw, you know, she says she wasn't always the best at conversing in a way where she was watching how the other person felt. Okay. All she cared about was her mission and her purpose to convey the message in which she was receiving from the divine and the importance of the mission at hand. But nowadays, she would recommend, you know, using your words, being calm and assertive. But she wasn't always calm and assertive. A lot of the time, she wasn't really calm and assertive, she's saying. So she would recommend that in this day of age, in this experience, if you want to call it, that you are aware of your emotions and your words and how you're going to convey the message. Um, she is saying that sometimes it is best to be more isolated or only have a few friends that are strong, supportive beings in your life than a whole bunch of a sea of friends that don't have your best interest at heart or are she's using the word fake or you want a friendship that is transparent that will honor the being that you are, and if that means that you spend more alone time for a time, not forever, then so be it. Wow. Awesome, Luann. With my French lineage, was I in a previous life in France during the time of her life there? She was an icon I've always looked up to. So right now she's not answering right away because I think from what I'm gathering, she's getting that information about your past lifetimes. Um, Still not hearing anything. Just give me a moment. It's like she's looking, she has like this scroll or a chart, and she's looking and she goes, no, Luann. She says, Luann was not there in that lifetime alongside of me or in that same time period in France as I was. But you have had a past lifetime in France, just not at that timeline. I see you as a female, Luann, in France. She's showing female. Anything else on that? No? Okay. So there you have it. If you've felt that pull and that strong draw to France, that's likely why. Um, I say if you go to Paris, you call me. Let's go together. Let's do it. Oh my God, I would so love that. hmm Uh, Even today, like right now, channeling her, she loves France. She loves France, loves it. It is always near and dear to her heart. It's a sacred place that she on earth would call home. If there was a home that she had to choose on earth, that would be her home. She has a great love for France. She says that she would have done anything for France, anything, including in that lifetime, she lost her life, and she was okay with that. She was okay. I mean, yes, she was fearful, but she knew, her soul knew the outcome. Um, and if there was ever a time to give your life uh, well, she was happy to give her life for that cause, and she was happy to give her life for that country. Wow. She's saying, thank you, Kristen. Yeah. It's interesting because, a friend of mine came to me recently and said, my life is a lot slower paced. I don't have as much energy. I'm not doing as much activity. And I said, there's a beauty in that because most people are so busy all the time and they're just going from one thing to the next to the next to the next that they don't take the time to be present and in the moment. And so when things are a bit slower, you're more acutely aware of your own vibrational frequency. You're more aware. You have more still awareness of your thoughts. And there's a beauty in that. And personally, in my experience, I would much rather be in this position and there's more peace and you enjoy the moment much more in life rather than life passing you by and not being aware. I'd much rather move at a slower place where I'm really aware of my thoughts and aware of my energy. And I'm happier. I'm a lot happier. And that for me is the most important in life, is to be happy. Um, you know, um, if you're too busy and you're too much go, 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 you're not, stop and smell the roses, as they say. Yes, road trip to Paris. Let's go. You're closer than me, so I'll fly out. Yeah. Do you know how many women posted below this channeling Joan of Arc? And so many feel so strongly connected to you. You know what she did? With her sword. Yes! Um, Her purpose and goal is to champion each of you, championing you. Go forth. Yes. Um, she loves that lifetime and the story of her life has stirred up within each of you that uh, energy to persevere and to keep pushing forward, and to make no excuses for that. To just keep, she's like, basically, move mountains. Go forth and move mountains. Don't hold back. Don't make excuses. Don't feel like you shouldn't, vocalize yourself or be timid. In fact, she would like us to all speak up much more moving forward. Now she's like showing me she's on a horse in full armor and she's got her sword and she's like yelling at the top of her lungs with the horse and she's like full on just giving her on the horse and she's yelling. She wants, if she's the catalyst in triggering within you that fierceness and that drive to move forward in this life, and to make changes happen, she is very happy and elated about this. Very happy and elated. Oh, you're so welcome, you guys. So are there any last words that you'd like to say, Joan of Arc? Oh, yes. I gotta get ready for this. Here we go. She's building her energy up here. Oh, she's talking so fast. I'm just gonna ask you to slow down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Many of you like to question. Should I take this action? Should I speak up and say this? Should I vocalize myself and say I have an issue? Yes, the answer is yes. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's better to speak up and say how you feel far more than sitting silent and quiet and being passive and questioning things and keeping your head down. No more keeping your head down. Look up. She says, look towards the horizon and move in that direction and don't stop. Thank you. Love you guys.